So long story short, yes, I do recommend you go play the game. There are small letters and there are some things to say, but if you just wanted a yes or no, then yes, go play this game. Gameplay, amazing. The rest is pretty bad. And the story is even worse than the first game, because in the first game you don't have anything to build upon. So whatever the characters do or say, I have to take as the law because I don't know the characters, I don't know how they act. But here we have a little more to rely on because we have the first game and things are a little bit different and strange and just doesn't make any sense. But the story doesn't appear to take itself seriously for most of the game, so I'm not gonna be completely harsh about the story until maybe I play the third game, but we'll see. The writing is quite funny. There's plenty of times where I laughed at the jokes, but I have little kids humor, so you might not enjoy it. I really enjoyed the conversation, for example, between Lo Wang and Kamiko. It was maybe 70% funny and 30% cringe, so but there is some cringe stuff in there, but it's not the most of it, not even close. So let's talk about what the game is doing good, what's actually in it. So the gameplay. I really enjoy fast-paced combat for these kind of hack and slash game. I don't like to wait, I don't like the pairing mechanics, I don't like animation locks. This is why I enjoy this game so much. Whenever you hit something, especially when you use special attacks with your sword, there is like a small slow motion move that makes you actually feel the weight of the attack. So even though you're not animation locked, the game doesn't feel very floaty and there is actual weight to the attack. So that's very, very good. To complement the system even more, comboing and weaving attacks in between. When I say weaving, I mean doing one power attack, dashing and immediately starting a new special, another power attack. This works amazing in this game. There is no delay. The second you do something, it will work. I don't have to wait for a cooldown like in the first game for like a second or two to wait until I can register a new skill for the game. You can just input them as fast as you want and the game is just gonna follow you as fast as you click. And this makes it, in combination with the free dashes that you can do dashes whenever you want, this is amazing. This is what makes this gameplay system so much fun. The guns are not that cool. I try to play with the guns a little bit. The enemies are very spongy if you use the guns. I don't know, just didn't enjoy using the guns. And I also try to make it a little bit harder for myself because it's very easy. So I accidentally dropped my sword, so forget this. So I used only the sword and I did not regret this. It was a ton of fun. Unlike the first game, now you can actually fight the bosses using your sword, which again makes it so much fun because the bosses are also different. Now before I dive a little bit into the bosses, I kind of want to talk about the weapon system before we dive right back into the bosses. So let's go back a little bit. The weapon system itself is a little bit strange, but I still like it. It feels like the system was built for a much longer game or for a much bigger game, much more replayable game. But there is not a lot of replayability. Yes, there are very different builds that you can do, but it doesn't feel worthy to go and do the same thing again just to kill the same monster differently. I don't know why, I can't explain why. Obviously I did it in other games, for example like Cyberpunk and things like that, but they have more meat. This game, once you finish with the gameplay, basically, when I say finish, I mean you did whatever there is to do. You tried everything, well, not even everything. Okay, I'll do it like that. So the weapon system, as I said, is way too deep and way too long for what the game offers, and you get done. You don't want to do more gameplay. Obviously I would if I will right now, but it doesn't feel as fun. I would rather play other games or do other things, and the system is just not built for that. Because you can still upgrade and more upgrade your weapons and do more things and more gems on your weapons and more gems on your equipment, but you don't need that. I only upgraded the sword like once. For each sword I upgraded it once, I think, and I barely even used that. I used like 2 swords, one electricity and one fire for the rest of the playthrough from the second I got them. It's very easy. And also once I got the vanish skill, every time you just vanish, the AI just basically takes a break and just waits for you to kill it. So all the bosses that were like a little bit different and harder at the start became supremely easy once I actually got the vanishing skill to become invisible, and even the last boss got killed by like 5 hits, which is kind of funny because I just vanish, hit, vanish, hit, vanish, hit 5 times, and that's it, end of the game. So yes, the gameplay is fun, but the fun will run out eventually as everything runs out. So that's just a heads up about how the gameplay works. This does not mean that the gameplay is supreme and there's no problems with the gameplay. Yes, sure, there are. You still are body blocked by enemies that are touching you and getting closer to you. It's nowhere near as much as it was in the first game. You can be much more closer to enemies, but you can still get body blocked very easily by a bunch of enemies around you, and this game seems to have a lot more enemies coming towards you, and that's fun. The problem is with the body blocking. I think it's a little bit too strong, and because of the body blocking, if you try to air dash and something touches you, even like a fly farts on you, then it immediately cancels your dash and you fall into the ground right on top of the enemies, and you can't get out because you're in the middle of all the enemies. So vanishing is very helpful, but then you kind of ruin the entire purpose of the gameplay. Blah 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 blah. You get the idea. There's a little bit of jank, but it's a ton of fun. My conclusion for this game is wait for discount. Yes, it's fun. If you're like me, I love lore. I love story. I really love story and lore. This game doesn't have the meat. It doesn't have anything to hold you. So once the rush from the fun gameplay is done, then you're left with nothing, because everything else is pretty bad. The writing, the story, everything is pretty bad. Nothing makes any sense. Characters do things that they said they weren't going to do in the previous game, or they say things that doesn't make any sense because, for example, they said, let me recall something. I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh yeah, in one of the examples, Kamiko asked you if you would help her when her father would like sacrifice her to close the gates, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. Then like maybe an hour later, maybe less, she says she's surprised by the fact that he wants to sacrifice her to close the gates. And I was like, what? But you just asked me to help you in case you wanted to do this, and now you're surprised that this has been coming up? Doesn't make any sense to me. And there's a lot more like this, a lot more contradictions, a lot more things that just doesn't make any sense story-wise, which again is the most important things to me. But the gameplay is a ton of fun. Yes, there's a ton of fun to be had here. I think I have like maybe 20 something hours, 23, 24 hours on this game. Yes, granted, most of it was side missions, but it doesn't matter, because side missions, main missions, combat is the thing you're coming here for. This game has a lot of vertical progression, so if you do enjoy more of a gameplay focused games and you're able to hold there for maybe like 100 hours, maybe more than 100 hours, then you do have stuff to do here. There's a lot of farming that you can do, a lot of grinding that you can do. You can play a new game and do the same thing again with your character and upgrade everything again to a new level. I just don't see the point. There was, okay, yep, dashing is fun, slashing when spinning around, fun, like stabbing people, dealing a lot of damage, making things go on fire, climbing stuff, dashing and jumping. It's fun. What's next? Nothing. That's the answer. Nothing is next. And I got the third game, so I'm gonna start to dive into this right after I finish editing this video, and we'll see how this video how the third game will actually be, because it seems to be the most hated so far from what I've seen. The first game seemed to be very loved, but not as much to the second. So we have the second, the first, and then the third. This is how much the order of the games from what I've seen online. So yeah, I guess I'll understand whatever's going on when I play the third game and probably do a proper review for the story of this game. The third, all of them. I don't know, I think so. But that's gonna be it. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know why, so I can improve. Besides that, keep us safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.